I don't know how many of you know this. Probably you know this. We're from Edmonton. We're doing this in Calgary. Teach me about Calgary. What makes Calgary a great place to build a business, Margot?
I think it's the people. When I first went off on my own and started Oliver Capital, we were raising capital for a broadcasting business that we wanted to develop. And so I'd never done this before, and we were looking for capital in Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, and in Toronto, and a little bit in Montreal. And the nature of the people we were dealing with was so different. People in Calgary are naturally entrepreneurial, and they inherently understand the concept of risk, and reputation really matters in Calgary. So Wellington and I had this conversation, so I had a rehearsed answer. But people in Calgary really rely on reputation and referrals from other people. So when I was raising capital, I start with people that I know, and if they invested, they would say to me, you should talk to this person and that person. I think this is something that they might be interested in. And so I'd pick up the phone and I'd talk to somebody and I'd say, I got your name from so-and-so. This is what I'm doing. I'd like to come in and see you. He's invested in my business, and I think, that you might find this interesting. And more often than not, they would say, well, just tell me about it on the phone, let's talk about it. And I would tell them on the phone what I was doing and what we were looking to raise, and what the expectation was in terms of return of capital and all of that. And more often than not, they would say, okay, I'm in, put me down for $250, right? Like one conversation, not even having met face to face. But what was important was not only that we had a sound business plan, but that somebody that they knew had invested and had referred me to them. In Toronto, God bless them, they due diligence themselves right out of an opportunity. And I think due diligence is really important, so don't get me wrong. And I think Shannon said that earlier about, when you invest in friends' businesses or bring friends on, due diligence is absolutely imperative. So of course you want to do that, but not to the point that you talk yourself out of whatever thing, you might be looking at. And then, Vancouver, if you could get a meeting with somebody in Vancouver when it was sunny out, good luck to you. They were probably the only people working, no offense. But it's a lifestyle city, right? So Calgary people work hard. As a friend of mine said, when you see somebody in Calgary walking at 6 a.m., they're walking to work. In Vancouver, they're going for a walk at Stanley Park. I don't know what they're doing in Toronto. But I love Calgary, and I love doing business here.
Shannon?
I think Calgary still has that small town mentality. So everything is it's the 2 degrees of separation, not 7 degrees of separation. So I'll go into an appointment and they'll say, oh, I know your aunt, or I know your uncle, or oh, I know your father. And then I think, oh, I hope it was a good experience. And it always ties back, but it's one of those things that connection gives you that next step, and then it gives you a character reference. It grows your business. It's your referral. It's everything that you are. And so I think it's really important that small town mentality, that even though we're a 1 million+ city, it's still that small town mentality. And 2 degrees of separation, you can find someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone's aunt and uncle, and it's all connected.
Gena?
I would echo what was said. I'm a born and raised Calgarian. I moved away in '92 and moved back in 2003 from New York City, and I chose to leave New York. 2002 I moved back, but I chose to leave New York and start my business in Calgary. I could have started in New York. It would have probably been a lot easier, just because it's technology and finance all in one place. But I couldn't imagine having a business anywhere else in the world. This is home. It's been, whenever I went traveling, and I've traveled a lot and I've lived all over, Calgary was always home. So, and I think that the other thing that makes Calgary unique, especially comparing to Toronto, because I lived there as well, we're so engaged. Like, elections aside, we're volunteering and we're donating, and we're getting out and doing river cleanups, and we're having really interesting conversations. And it's just, I think in the last 5 to 8 years, that I've really seen a significant difference. I mean, Wellington and I met at, I think, at an innovation exchange or something along those lines, and there's just a vibe in this city that I don't feel anywhere else. I couldn't imagine having a business located elsewhere.
Thank you.